Okay, hi everybody from YouTube land. I'm back actually. I haven't done some videos in a while, but back here is Miguel. Say hi, Miguel. Oh, he's busy working. He's so totally concentrated on the software that we're building called Pandora's Wallet, which will actually have all the different cryptocurrencies available for you in one single application. Also using it to help people reduce exchange risk, which is a critical problem because a lot of exchanges have been collapsing and so forth and taking people's money. And with cryptocurrencies, you could take possession of the cryptocurrencies instead of like having the exchange hold your cryptocurrencies and then they might run off with it. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I'm here talking with Bud about Bitcoins. He wants to know a bit more about Bitcoins. So, Bud, so tell me what kind of questions you have for me today.
Well, my questions are probably more on macro scale, but then also I have some like to know more about what you see going on in Latin America, because obviously you're operating from Latin America. In fact, my main focus right now, as I mentioned, I work as a researcher for Franklin, and he is doing research on a story about Venezuela. And what we've heard and what our research has shown is that there's a lot of the meltdown of the economy in Venezuela, that a lot of things are happening in the Bitcoin market related to Venezuela. So I'm curious as to any insight you have about that, or any opinions you have about that. Is that a big enough event to register in the Bitcoin world?
Well, yes. I mean, a lot of people in Venezuela are actually using Bitcoin to mining Bitcoins in order to make some money, because the energy is pretty cheap there. And actually, the best person to actually ask to talk about that is Miguel, because he's actually from Venezuela. Here, let me just interrupt him for two seconds. Miguel, can we talk to you about Bitcoins in Venezuela, like how people use it? Do you know about that, right?
Yeah, how people use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tend to sell it.
Yeah, exactly. So what they do some mining and so forth, and
yeah,
basically sell.
What I've heard is that because of the currency issues in Venezuela, that people are trying to protect themselves by using Bitcoin. Is that something you're seeing happening in Venezuela, as the economy in Venezuela is kind of going through a lot of strange things, we could safely say, without being too opinionated?
Yeah, well, that's true. Venezuela economy is really bad right now, so people tend to have different currency instead of using our currency, the bolívares. We use another currency, or we tend to buy dollars or Bitcoins. There are many people there that, well, they mine, but it's kind of like, it's not illegal, but the government will see as something bad, because since we have this control exchange, that we cannot exchange as many dollars as we want. Like in other countries, we have restricted that.
Right, the government's controlling the official exchange rate. So there's a lot of black market activity, and then there's also people trying to protect themselves with gold, for example. That's another area that we've been looking at in our story is gold. So again, but I've heard that there's a lot of hot activity in Bitcoin right now of people trying to protect themselves. Is that, does that sync with what you're seeing and what you know?
Yeah, I heard of many people trying to mine there, but since we have this control exchange, right, the government sees as Bitcoin as a control exchange, so they will put you into jail for that.
Okay.
So you know people that have gone to jail for mining Bitcoins?
Yeah, in fact, my uncle was in jail for that, so it was a really big problem there. And he wasn't doing anything wrong, but since the government thought he was exchanging Bitcoin for dollars, and that's kind of like illegal because it was like supporting the black market, but he didn't sell anything,
right,
and get any coins. But that's how our government works.
Wow, that's great. So I'm wondering, is Bitcoin's worth more in Venezuela?
No,
than the actual market price?
No, I think it's the same price.
Okay, interesting.
Since it's really hard to get dollars to buy Bitcoins.
Yeah,
yeah. I guess my question is also, are there people trying to pay, essentially to use Bitcoins on a daily basis in Venezuela because they don't want to use or can't use the local currency and dollars are hard to, is it becoming a viable option for people who are trying to protect themselves or just simply get by as the Venezuela economy has all these problems?
Well, there are some people that mine in their houses. Since the government doesn't know anything, well, they just do it. And they just try to get the currency by themselves, but they don't buy it. It's really hard to buy the Bitcoin.
So do they trade in it? That's the question. So
yeah, exactly. Are they trading? Are they trading?
Anyone
I apologize. I don't know the technical lingo. I'm not an expert or anything.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So she just wants to know if they actually, buy bread, clothing, or something like that directly with Bitcoins instead of.
Or are companies, like for example, are any companies using it to protect them? I don't know if you heard, but for example, the airlines have had big issues with the currencies in Venezuela.
I think companies will love to do that, but it will be a big problem because since we have this exchange problem,
the
government will take everybody to jail just for doing that because they're supporting the black market of the dollar. So it's not something that companies or any store will do.
Yeah, so that's why they don't actually transact in Bitcoins. I remember back when I first got here, actually Argentina was having some problems with the currency, and the price of Bitcoins was slightly higher than that. Well, a lot more higher than the actual market price. The same thing actually happened recently here in Chile, as Bitcoin was rising to passing $2,000. When it was about $2,300, Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoins here was actually $3,000. So it was $700 difference on the exchange here. So right now it's normalized. It's actually the same price, but when things get a little bit out of hand and then people start to go crazy for Bitcoins, then the price actually goes higher than the actual market price elsewhere in other exchanges. So it does happen, but not often. And I'm assuming that if they do exchange for Bolivares. I think you probably get a little bit more than you would in Bolivares. Than you would in dollars, right? Because dollars are hard to find, whilst the local currency is easy to obtain, right?
Okay.
Well, they will.
And I'm sorry, you made this a long conversation, but I'm just firing away. The other thing that my journalist friend is investigating is the use of Bitcoins in the piracy and because there's a lot of black market things happening on the borders of Venezuela, off the seacoast of Venezuela. People are selling gas out in floating gas stations, the boats all together. There's a lot of, it's a fairly big, important economy in Latin America that's melting down, essentially. And Bitcoin seems to be part of the medium of exchange in the black market there as well.
Well,
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's any way to know that, but.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm really not sure, but it could be because since we have a lot of correction there, maybe they're using Bitcoin since it's an untrackable coin. Maybe they're using that to make the transactions.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, because it's all illegal in that country, so it's difficult to know unless you're.
I guess that makes it pirate currency.
Yeah, you will have to be part of the underground to know if they're using, but I think they will.
Okay. Well, I mean, hopefully, my again, I'm not doing this for background for a story, but my writer friend is there in Trinidad doing a story. And I know Bitcoin is, a topic. Now, exactly how much of a topic, I don't know. But that's why. And so maybe later, perhaps when he gets back from there might be more questions and more something specific. But I just wanted to do some background research. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about why you're in Chile and why, what Bitcoin means in Chile. I have not real clear on what its role is in Chile either.
Well, I decided to come down to Chile because, like, I'm really sick and tired of the snow in Canada. So I always wanted to move out of Canada. That was always my plan, to move from Canada because I couldn't take the snow and the taxes. Taxes were like 50%. And I would read also Simon Black's Sovereign Man, and he would mention that Chile, how great Chile is, and I came down, I liked what I saw, and I decided to stay. So that's the reason why I'm here. And as for Bitcoins in Chile, I find that most Chileans don't know about Bitcoin. They only started to get interested in Bitcoin because the price is high. But overall, it's not a highly used currency here. I think it's mostly highly used for speculative purposes because they do have now about 4 exchanges, and all the exchanges actually now trade not only Bitcoin but also Ethereum. Ethereum is also a big thing here as well. Again, when Bitcoin was moving up and Ethereum was moving up, what was happening with Ethereum? Ethereum was double the value than the regular market here in Chile for some reason. It was like insane. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I got to get involved in the arbitrage here, because like the arbitrage opportunity is huge. But the problem is sending money back and forth between here and another country. Right, you got to have another bank account in the other country and so forth, and you have to use SWIFT. You have to use the banking system transfer, and that that takes anywhere from 3 to 5 days to transfer cash between the banks, right, out of the country. So it was like, okay, do I really want to do this? Because the arbitrage is not going to last. Obviously, it's going to probably, and it didn't. It lasted about 2 weeks, and that was it. It was that the arbitrage was gone, right? So, because obviously there was a huge opportunity for people to make like a ton of cash just by selling Bitcoins and Ethereum here and then buying them at a lower price on a different exchange. That's a huge opportunity, especially when the margin was like $500 for $700 for Bitcoins, and like doubled for Ethereum. That's huge. Unreal.
Well, let me ask you more, like, again, my interest is sort of abstract even in some ways, and maybe yours is much more practical about, actually making money off the market. But what I find really interesting and what we've been researching as well is gold. And to me, from what I understand of the structure of Bitcoin and the blockchain, is it really in some ways functions like digital gold.
Yes, exactly. Some people call it gold 2.0.
It really seems that way, but I'm curious if there are places where the actual gold market crosses the Bitcoin market. Like people move, like in similar ways. People use gold as a way of protection. Rich people hold on to it. Again, it's an issue of whether they're buying paper gold or actual physical gold. But one way or the other, people use it as a way to protect themselves, to go long, against the system.
That's true.
Do you see any overlap? As the gold market goes in a direction, does that affect the Bitcoin market, for example?
No, there is no market overlap in the sense of, okay, Bitcoin is cross-valued, but whenever gold goes up, Bitcoin goes up or something like that. No, there's no relational value with gold. But you can purchase gold. There are some exchanges that allow you to buy gold with Bitcoins, and I'm actually involved in one exchange. Let's see here. I think it's called Voltron. I think it is gold. I'm just looking it up right now. Hang on 2 seconds. It's Voltro. Voltro. It's
okay.
The website. Wow, look at that candlestick down. Because Bitcoin has gone up, right? The price in Bitcoins for gold has gone down a lot. Wow, look at that. So you don't see the chart here. Let me see if I can move the chart onto my screen and share that.
That would be. That's like you're gonna make a real show then.
let me see if I can move this over here and share that screen with you. In 2 seconds. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen. Ooh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. I don't think you'll be able to see that screen because what if I can show a different screen? Application window.
Yes, share screen.
There we go.
Yeah, there's a green button you should be able to.
Okay, so can you see the charts now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can make this thing a little bit bigger. Right, and let me just change this to auto. Oh, the auto scale is because of, I don't have to take it off the auto scale because the large candlestick down kind of like skewed the results here.
Flattened it all out.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm on the daily chart here, and you can see that I bought gold here, thinking, oh yeah, Bitcoin's is going down, but nope, Bitcoin went up, and obviously this went down. So you can see this large candlestick. People were dumping their gold for Bitcoins like crazy. Obviously, there was no liquidity, and so wow, if you had a buy order down here, right, you would have been golden. You would have gotten gold on the cheap in Bitcoin, but you can see it.
Was the issue of actual gold, physical gold versus, like a future? Because from what I understand, a good portion of the gold market is actually a futures market, and actual physical purchase of gold is limited and much more complicated. Was that an important issue for you?
Yeah, I would prefer that these people have physical gold. They say they do, but I don't believe them. I don't believe a word any company that sells gold.
It does look like a market full of lots of unbelievable things, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, because gold is one of those things that great. It's great to have somebody else store it for you, but if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Period. Just leave it at that and live by those rules, and you will never be disappointed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, of course. Which of course limits your investment, because the only physical type of gold you can actually handle as a citizen is the commemorative coin type issues. But everything else legally has to be in a physical. They have registered holders, and you have to have it in one of those. So if you wanted a bar of gold, you have to it has to be in a registered storage facility. You can't take physical possession.
Yeah, there are some storage facilities you can take physical possession of, but again, right? That creates a honeypot for the government, right? No matter where it is and located in the world, whether it's Hong Kong, Singapore, right, which are some of the safer countries, to have stored gold for you, and gold and silver. I prefer silver. By the way, I think silver will have a bigger upfront than gold once the dollar collapses, and I think gold and silver will not make a move until the dollar collapses, because it's the indicator that the dollar is done. So they are keeping that indicator down. I mean, when you do some research on back when gold was making its run back in the 80s. One of the things that Paul Volcker said was, listen, you know what? My job was really hard because we didn't manage gold. And now they manage gold. They manage gold very, very well. And they also manage silver. In fact, they practically manage every aspect of the market. As you probably know, Japan, right, owns 80% of the stock. The Japanese, what's it called, central bank owns 80% of the stock market in Japan. So this is not going to end well. You know what I mean?
All right. All right, but you don't think that they track necessarily together? Well, any more comments on the theoretical aspect that that Bitcoin is sort of modeled after the real physical, like the actual the mining is also, the mining gets harder and harder until it virtually disappears. It's very similar to the setup structure of Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, mining today is like next to impossible. Right now, we're mining gold down deep into the earth. And it's very expensive to mine gold. Well, same with bitcoins. It's very expensive to mine Bitcoin, so they were closely related, right? So that's why I like bitcoins. And when I saw it from the first time back in 2011, I knew this was going to be a very big thing, and that's why I invested heavily into it.
Mm. Now, how about the blockchain? Again, I'm just random questions here that I have from somebody who's been following along since 2011 but never played. How about the blockchain as a technology? And it seems like that's might even grow larger than Bitcoin.
Well, the problem with the blockchain, taking out the blockchain is a part of Bitcoin. It's not. It is Bitcoin. It's just a feature.
The technology that Bitcoin's based on, kind of.
Exactly, but blockchain without decentralization is just a database, right?
Right.
So it's actually like, so what the banks want to do is, oh well, we don't like the decentralized part. We want the blockchain part, right? Well,
Right.
all you have is a database with a secured key for every single record. Big deal. You could have always done that.
Right. It's just a database.
The core feature of Bitcoin is the fact that anyone can participate in this market. I am creating a software to help people with cryptocurrencies. I don't have to go to the bank and say, please, sir, can I integrate with your database so that I can create this software to help people be more efficient? I don't have to ask anybody. I don't have to get permission. I don't get with Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies in general. This is the critical part of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Anything or anyone can own the crypto money, basically. Mm-hmm. So, for example, your fridge can own money, and it can decide whether to buy some food for you because you're running out of eggs or milk or whatever. You can't do that with our current monetary system. Somebody else has to own the money. So this is why Elon Musk is also designing a what's it called, an automatic car, a car that drives by itself, but also he wants to allow this car to pick people up, pick up passengers, fix itself, get its own gas, everything, and then pay the buyer of the car, or pay the company that owns the car, basically, so that you can use the car whenever you want. You just call it, but the money that it makes on its own, once it's not being used, will go to the company, so you get a free car.
Right. Whoever financed it.
Yeah, exactly. So these are some of the cool things that are coming down the pipe, and is only available through cryptocurrencies.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's the main. Thank you. I appreciate you taking a minute to give me your impressions. I think I'm accidentally there. You are.
Yeah. So if you have any other questions,
are you going to be in Santiago over the next few weeks? I hope I can come in. As I said, I live outside of Santiago, but I'd love if I could come in some afternoon and meet up for a beer at the end of the day, something like that. I don't know if that's
for sure.
Travel schedule like.
Yeah, I'm pretty much working in my office all the time, so I gotta build the software. So I'm here in Santiago for the next 4 weeks. So if you want to come down,
okay. I'll WhatsApp you. That's the easiest way to go. And what part of town is your office located in?
Close to Costanera Center.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect for me. So.
All right.
All right, great. Well, thanks a lot. I really nice meeting both of you. I really appreciate it. And you know, again, I'm not in the game, but I follow it all from like, I don't know, like what's going to happen. I think it really does have the chance to really change the way the world works. So I'm following along from that perspective, even though I'm not in the market. So
that's okay. I mean, it's kind of crazy to buy Bitcoins right now. It's just way too high. I think.
Yeah, of course I was stupid. I should, you know, I knew it was like one of those things that you kind of had to make that quick jump right at the beginning. And at the time, I didn't have money to invest in mining equipment, and it seems like getting in early was the right way to go. So
yeah, you could have just bought some and did the little old lady style of investing and sold half on a double. That's what I suggest that any of my friends did when they finally decided, hey, you know what? I want to buy some Bitcoins, and they were like interested when it was like around $600, and I thought, okay, yeah, that's fine. You can buy it here, but you have to know how to when to sell, right? Because like the hardest thing for people to do is determining when to sell. I mean, sure, can you buy Bitcoins at this price and make money? Yes, you can. However, most people don't know how to do that. They'll buy it here, and then they'd be like, holding on. Oh, it's going higher. Holding on. It's going higher. I'm getting richer. I'm getting richer. But at the end of this cycle, it's coming right back down to $1,000. So you got to know when to dump the Bitcoins so that you're not a bag holder for a very long time.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right? I mean, sure, you could buy it here and hold it for a very long time, and it'll eventually make you money. But I see it going anywhere from here to $5,000 or $10,000, and then rolling down.
Well, Ethereum was just big in the news recently for a bit of a hiccup, I guess you would say. And I know Bitcoin's had some little issues here and there, but in general, do you think Bitcoin's more reliable, as more established? Is that why it hasn't had as a big of a scandal, perhaps, as Ethereum just had? Well,
I mean, Bitcoin's going through the same scandal that Ethereum went through, except for the DAO part of it, where Bitcoin you can't reverse transactions and undo transactions in Bitcoin. It's just not possible. So, for example, let's just say somebody stole billions of dollars worth of Bitcoins. Well, and we wanted to. Everybody in the world decided to, hey, you know what? I want to roll back that transaction. Everybody agreed to it. Let's just say everybody did for some unimaginable world, right? Well, let's see what would have to happen, right? First off, right? Let's just say you agreed to doing that rollback 2 weeks later. With Bitcoin, in order for that rollback to happen, we'd have to stop mining the chain, so stop all transactions from happening. All of them. Go back 2 weeks and start mining the transaction before the person who got robbed. Change the transaction, and then remine all 2 weeks, and you have to wait 2 weeks before we.
Right, it's not practical.
So no transaction at all for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, nobody's gonna agree to that. It's not gonna happen, right? So let's say, and then
have you looked for any government support? Have you done there's Startup Chile and all the different programs that there are here in Chile? Are you trying to take advantage of anything like that? I mean, you're obviously an innovator and trying to do stuff.
No, I haven't tried to take advantage of that stuff. I don't believe in getting government handouts anyway, so I'm not interested.
Fair enough. All right, just curious.
Yeah. So anyways, with Ethereum, it's because it's not unsigned what's it called? UTXOs, which is I hate it when I forget things like this. UTXOs is unspent transaction outputs. That's what it stands for.
Okay.
So what it is basically ledger based. Is Ethereum. So basically minus $5 from your Ethereum from your account added to the next person's account, right? Because it's like that, they could roll back transactions at any point in time and change the results. Not only that, they could actually add more currency into somebody's account if there's only consensus on the miners. So the miners just have to agree, not the users of the currency. And then, you know, they could do whatever they want. They could add more currency to somebody's account. They could take somebody's money, whatever, as long as there's consensus on the mining side, right? It's an instant process, right? It's not a long-winded process to do. So that's my problem with Ethereum. I saw that from the very beginning. It was my main concern with Ethereum. I thought maybe they wouldn't do it, and then they did with the DAO, right? They actually proved that they would do it once they had the government pointing the gun at them. So with Ethereum, although the Ethereum technology is great, the idea is great, but the implementation, I have some serious concerns. Because I was thinking, wait a second now. Now that I know that you're going to do a bailout, I could design a very complicated system, right? That will make a whole bunch of people money, even myself. And then I know that eventually it's going to collapse based on a macro event, right? Similar to what's it called, long-term capital management. And basically, once that event eventually comes along, you guys are going to bail me out. Because that's the way it's designed, right? So that's my problem with it. So you've created a hole to allow developers to create a system where you will bail them out if the system fails and enough people are suffering. That's our current
bad precedent.
Yes, exactly. That's our current monetary system.
Yeah, as well.
Basically, so I have concerns about Ethereum in that regard, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
But I like the technology. I mean, having a contract-based system where you can write software that's decentralized and run anywhere, that's great. But unfortunately, as soon as the government, because you've proven that the government can point a gun at you and say, hey, listen, we don't like that. You're going to change the code so that everybody, so that that company agrees with the law. I've got a problem.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, I won't take up any of your time right now, but I'm going to be in touch. So
yeah, sure.
I think this week is probably not going to happen, but I'll be WhatsApping you, and hopefully we'll meet for a beer at the end of the workday, you know, later this week or early next week.
Oh, sounds good. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling.
Thanks a lot. Take care of yourself.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.